there's got to be a place for debased desires that you can go and express them no matter how horrific it is, as long as you're not hurting someone else.
Yeah.
Like whether it's VR or like, consensual things,
I think therapy, you can do this in therapy, but
Yes. It's like we're coming up with all these extravagant ways. Before we started recording, we were talking about the Pavlovian response of drinking coffee and feeling awake in the morning. I feel like for me, starting a podcast, it's the crack of a LaCroix. And if someone, like if I hear it in my apartment or if I'm out, it just like, I think about starting a podcast, like snapping one open. I'm like, who's got the Shure mic?
Let's get going.
Yeah.
Are you a LaCroix guy or are you, what's the San Pellegrino?
So I'm not a LaCroix diehard. I would say that I drink LaCroix because it's so popular in Brooklyn, and it's at all Court Street grocers down the street from me. But before I moved into Brooklyn, I was on Long Island, and Fresca was the go-to, and ShopRite.
Really?
Like they had racks of Fresca and not as much LaCroix.
I love how Long Island is just like, we got to be different.
Its own thing.
We got to do our own thing.
100%.
Wow.
So I'm not a diehard, but I do enjoy the LaCroix. The orange and grapefruit LaCroix are my favorite.
I was going to say my favorite are just the standard blue can, no flavor. Because I don't
So it's like club soda then, pretty much.
Exactly. I never even drank a LaCroix until I moved to New York.
Really?
And now I can't escape the LaCroix. It's all I've got. If I want to be hydrated, I'm forced to drink a LaCroix.
So what was your carbonated beverage of choice before New York?
I actually didn't drink any soda.
Really?
Nothing, yeah. I would just drink water all day. Well, I have coffee in the morning, water all day long, maybe juice. I'm a juice gal. Give me some fresh juice.
Fresh juice.
Get that sugar up, and I'm good to go. And then I will crack a beer if I want to crack
at 9
a can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One juice and then beer transition.
As I'm getting ready for work.
100%. So is the juice and water thing, was that imposed and passed down to you by your parents?
No.
And then no soda, or is that's a self-imposed?
Yeah, totally reverse. I used to drink soda a good bit as a kid. I had like free reign to do whatever I wanted as a kid. Not a lot of parental guidance for me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're like, you escaped the helicopter generation. You're like a throwback latchkey kid.
Yeah.
In
now
the 90s.
I'm trying to control myself now. But I could be totally different now. I could be unhinged if it wasn't for some self-reflection. But yeah, I stopped drinking soda completely probably by the time I graduated high school. So, I mean, I think every kid drinks a lot of like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
So Mountain Dew and Dr.
Code
Pepper.
Red.
Yeah. That was my shit back then. And my dad used to get like the little cans too. So I never felt like I was doing anything wrong because I'd just like crush one of those mini cans and be like, fuck yeah.
That's when you know you have a problem with Mountain Dew, when you're like, I need the cans that fit into my pocket without the bulge. So like at any time, like the way people pack airplane bottles for the airport, that's how your dad was packing Mountain Dews. Like you never know, like if you're stuck in traffic in an airplane bathroom. Yeah. Just you can take one open and just boom, hide the evidence.
I was trading them out at school like
I like that.
$2.
$2.
Or no, I don't even know. It's probably,
$2.
What is it? 2 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents probably.
I like that. Kids are playing dice, trading Mountain Dews.
Yeah, but I eventually stopped because I grew really obsessed with my dental hygiene. And so I just don't drink a lot of, I mean, this is rare that I have a Coke here, but that's because they were out of the regular LaCroix in the fridge. So I was like, this is all I've got.
There was a phase where I didn't brush my teeth in middle school. Like I was just adamantly against brushing my teeth. And then once I figured out that was disgusting.
How long was that phase? Because middle school is like 3 years.
I would say it was mostly 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
Actually, probably like 6th and 7th, because 8th grade is when I started to get interested in the allure of the opposite sex, and I realized like, that you can't.
This might hinder.
Yeah, like you can't, make out with a girl when you smell like, bacon, macaroni, and cheese from the night before.
I think I did the same thing. I don't think my dental hygiene was that great. I've been blessed with like just healthy teeth, and now I'm really obsessive with it. But yeah, back then, I think I might have not brushed my teeth as much as well. And I know I went like 2 weeks without showering one time in middle school. Why does all this stuff happen in middle school?
That's not bad, actually. 2 weeks. I feel like I went on a 10-day camping trip a couple years ago and didn't shower. Showered
not
once
even
before.
Like in a river or anything? Not even a little scrub?
We went in a lake once or twice.
Then
but
you just smelled like lake water?
Just smelled like just salt water. Salt of the earth.
Wow.
I feel like that's all we needed. And then we got back to civilization and the hot shower. The lack of a shower or the lack of any amenities just really made me appreciate how fast I would perish if I ever had to live without those things, like permanently. If like all like showers got taken away, grocery stores, just like straight like, and we were bougie camping too because we were camping out of our car. We had like we were in a tent, but we were also doing it out of our car, so we weren't just like without any help. It wasn't like we were in the middle of nowhere without a way to get out. And even with that, I was like,
it might have been better that you were outside because instead then you just smelled inside the car. How was it? Were you each in your own individual car, or was it like 3 dudes in one van?
It was me and my girlfriend in one car.
Well, did
and
she
we had
complain?
all the supplies.
She didn't complain.
No, she didn't complain. This weird thing happens when you date someone, and at least for me, I just like their smell.
I don't think you smell them
as it
I
goes
just
on.
had this conversation with my friends over the weekend, and I was like, I'm convinced that when you are attracted to somebody, you don't smell them. Because I never smell my partner when she's like, oh, I'm so sweaty. I just came back from a jog. I'm like, I can see you're sweaty, but I don't smell you.
Do you ever sniff an armpit just for the hell of it?
She's not going to like my armpits or hers.
Hers.
She's not going to like me saying this, but the only thing that will smell is her feet when she's really sweaty.
Like it'll be
like sweaty feet.
A grungy smell.
Just smells like sweaty feet.
Just smells like sweat. Yeah. Because
armpits never.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I'll sniff an armpit because it's something about the pheromones and the natural smell of someone else that you're spending a lot of time with. I feel like you just grow to like it. Like if I smelled my girlfriend's armpit 2 days into dating her, maybe even 2 weeks, it would just be an armpit. Like I wouldn't be like, but now it's like it's her.
It's like
weird.
Guiding you home. You're like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like I feel like my brain is locking onto her scent, and she said she like felt the.
Yeah, let's pause for a second because I can't read it.
100%. So yeah, we had a slight interruption. Someone actually saved us, and we're recording in a WeWork style space. Shout out to Industrious Studios.
Yeah.
And this girl noticed that one of the phones was on low battery. So we fixed that.
You can see in here. It's a glass wall.
Yes. Glass wall.
Behind right in front of us, a glass wall. So everybody, we're really like zoo animals in here right now.
Exactly. She saved us. We thought she was going to come in and, be confrontational about my view on smelling armpits of your significant other. But luckily that didn't happen because I would have gotten really charged up.
What if she came in and was like, will you smell my armpit? Yeah. I overheard you. And I just want to know.
Or if we put a sign on the door that was like, come in and let us smell your armpits for 5 minutes. Like we have a podcast segment.
I bet she would have. I bet somebody would. I mean,
we'll find someone. I mean,
that's the beauty of working in a shared workspace is that you never know.
It is New York. So we'll definitely find someone who's a taker.
Yeah.
So speaking of spending time outside, this is part of my one of my favorite parts is just finding the transition from us talking about
you're really good at
something random to going into the first topic. But speaking of spending time outside, the Department of Justice just charged an actor from Bob's Burgers and Arrested Development in the Capitol riots. So I did not know the name of this guy. I recognized his face once I looked him up, but apparently an actor from two very popular shows was sleuthed out by either a fan of the show or just random people online that saw this guy's face and connected it to his appearances in Bob's Burgers and Arrested Development. He was also an anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Okay.
And they did a facial analysis, and they matched him from footage in the Capitol to, obviously, he's been in a ton of media.
I was going to say, Bob's Burgers is animated.
That's true.
So it's like, you can't be face matching.
So from Arrested Development, I guess would have to be, or just like other photo ops that he's done.
I'm a big fan of Bob's Burgers.
So this guy, he played the character of
Jimmy Pesto.
Jimmy Pesto, yes. See, you're already on it.
I don't know all of this stuff, but yeah, I do know the character Jimmy Pesto.
So I looked up clips just so I could
you could get a good idea of his character.
But yeah, so apparently there's a whole group of people online that are going through photos from inside the Capitol during the riot to try to match. Like, there's been magicians that have been matched to these photos. Like, people are finding photos on Insta. So the way that they found him was through the face, obviously, but also if half your face is covered, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's through matching clothes that the person was wearing earlier that day.
Okay.
So he had posted an Instagram or something with his wife or whatever near the Capitol, and then was wearing the same exact clothes in the Capitol. So this group is just,
they're intense.
they're out here matching people
kind
up.
of crazy. It's probably like a team of women, because I know as a woman, we are really good at that FBI shit. Like, being like, well, why were you wearing this pair of shoes?
Like matching people to...
Just following a trail of breadcrumbs to whatever we want to find.
Have you had an instance like that where you had to use those skills?
I swear, I think I use them all the time, every day. I never, nothing major, but all the time I'm like, I need to go to this Instagram. I need to look through these stories, the posts, so I can find out like where this is, where this person was, all the time.
And you're just connecting the dots.
Yeah, I basically get inside the brain of this person. And I'm like, where was this person?
Building a psychological profile through social media. And you, I mean... Are you in this group because you are a fan of Bob's Burgers? Did you do the you would be, it sounds like you'd be a prime recruit for this group that is trying to match up people from the Capitol riots, like building the profile, figuring out what they were wearing.
If I was, I wouldn't tell you. But we did also talk last time that I could be a cult leader. And so am I getting recruited or am I doing the recruiting?
That's true. You could be the overlord of this group.
Yeah, I could be.
Capitol riots is just phase one.
Yeah.
So this is from NBC News, which it's funny to like see a ridiculous story and then like it's from a legitimate journalism site like NBC News. Fucking Bob's Burgers caught in the January 6th Capitol riot. But a Hollywood actor who appeared on Arrested Development, Bob's Burgers, and Anchorman has been arrested in California and charged in connection with the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Jay Johnston is his name, faces charges of felony obstruction of officers during the disorder, as well as several misdemeanor offenses, according to court documents. Johnston was one of hundreds of January 6 participants identified by online sleuths who have not been arrested. He also... So he was in the fight scene of Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. I don't know if you've seen. So there's a fight scene where basically Ron Burgundy he's like the news broadcaster guy. Like he is the Anchorman, and other cable news channels are basically trying to fight him in this like cement yard. Like Ben Stiller's there playing like a Latino Mexican, just like some Latino broadcasting news source. there's like other random people there. Vince Vaughn is in charge of one of the newscasters group, and like this guy Jay Johnson is like a background dude holding chains in this fight in Anchorman. And then he's also the gay cop in Arrested Development. Okay. So those are his characters. And then the Jimmy Pesto in Bob's Burgers. And so my thing is like, if I am Jay Johnston and I get caught in these photos, I am immediately going to try to play it off as like, I am still in character.
Yeah, you're method acting.
I'm like, and I think it makes the most sense to be the gay cop in Arrested Development, where he's like, I'm trying to infiltrate from the inside of the Capitol riots and assist in trying to stop it as soon as he got caught. Because like, who could say that you're not method acting? Like, who could prove that? Like, it's not a provable offense.
This is very Jimmy Pesto behavior. If you watch Bob's Burgers, you're like, oh, that's to be at the Capitol riots. You're like, that's Jimmy Pesto.
Can you paint a picture of who Jimmy Pesto is, since you're a fan of the show?
Yeah. So Bob's Burgers is based off of Bob and his family. Bob has a burger shop. It's always somehow still in business, but never really succeeding. And then across the street, Jimmy Pesto has a restaurant. And he's always just rubbing it in Bob's face, like, my business is so great. He's just kind of an asshole. Yeah. And yeah, he definitely probably would be the type to go to the Capitol riots. Yeah. Just to be there.
So method acting, you could definitely play that off as an excuse, and no one would be able to prove that.
I think so.
And he has the gay cop character he could say he's method acting for. And then also the character in Anchorman, where he literally has chains in a street fight. There's people trying to stab each other. And he could easily say, like, he might have had chains in the photo. I don't know. It was just zoomed in on his face. Like, people were holding fucking, like, it looked like swords, fucking javelins in the Capitol. Like, people had crazy wrist tape, like, fucking hunting down Nancy Pelosi. Like, I'm going to tie her to a chair.
It really was wild.
It was wild. So he could have said, like, look, you know, it was the pandemic. There's not a lot of acting jobs. I saw the Capitol riots and I'm like, this is a way that I could get back into character. I'm not going to cause any damage, but like, you know, pandemic's not going to last forever. I have to use my acting chops. So I'm going to rush a federal building.
Have you ever thought about being a defense attorney? I mean, maybe you should help this man out.
I've thought about it.
You might have to go to school for a little bit beforehand, but
maybe. I think this defense is so
he'll just
airtight.
hire you off the street. You don't need a law degree.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know if he's actually come out and made a statement yet. I didn't see anything in the article.
I don't think I did either.
But if he has a smart lawyer, they will put together something that has to do with method acting, or like something related to acting that's so ridiculous, but it's like, how can you disprove it? How can you tell someone that like you weren't, like, acting is one of those things that you could be doing all the time. You could be in a relationship with someone for 3 years and she's like acting. She's like, what happened?
Even like
you're such an asshole. Like, what, like you were such a nice guy, and like now you stole my dog, and like you kidnapped my kid, and like I'm you know, I want a divorce and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, I was just like getting into a role. Like I'm a complete asshole. I was just playing a nice guy.
Then the defense is like, he's insane. Yeah. That's the new defense, is that our guy here, he's insane. He's been acting all this time.
That would be a turn of events, because if he broke into the Capitol and he's thinking like, I'm trying to tie down fucking like Ted Cruz, Nancy Pelosi, whoever's in there, and then whoever he ends up being tied up in an insane asylum. And he's like, I did not see this coming. Like, I saw this
that script coming.
I want to know also, like, let's say the Capitol riots were a success, like all the senators, congressmen, congresswomen were in the building at the time, and like they were able to get to them and legitimately like hold them hostage, tie them down. Yeah. then what do you do? Like,
yeah,
you're
they're
inside
like,
the
we
building.
didn't think we'd get this far.
Yeah.
Now what?
Like, what was the thing? What was, like, in marketing, you have the plan of action.
Yeah.
It's like you're giving people information, you're trying to, build up, and then it's like, boom, buy these pair of sneakers. Like, what was the action plan for the Capitol riots?
Honestly, yeah, I don't really know. Like, they said a lot of things, but yeah, when push comes to shove, and you're like, okay, well, now I have this machete and Nancy Pelosi's here. Like, are you actually going to chop her head off? I mean,
like, you're not going to get
this morning you woke up with your wife and kids, and now you're here about to chop Nancy Pelosi's head off. I mean, like, this escalated a lot.
Yeah, like,
maybe just take a step back.
He's reading his kids Good Night Moon, and 12 hours later, he's fucking like has a battle axe over Nancy Pelosi's head. It's like, give me a reason.
Humans are really complex.
Yeah.
There's a lot to pack in there.
And then at that point, you have to finish the job because you're on camera, and the studio is going to be like, look, you said you're a method actor, but like you pulled out at the last second. So
also, this is like a live performance because there were so many other people there. If you're the guy that now is face to face with one of these people with the machete in hand, what are you going to do? You're going to bitch out?
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, I would, but I'm just saying, would this guy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would everybody?
I also feel like this is what happens when Hollywood doesn't let people have anything except like an extreme far left view. Like, you're forced to suppress your actual political views on set and like make all these public statements, and you're just like forcing it deep down, and then one day like the star of your show is just rushing the Capitol, and you're like, well, would he have done this if he was allowed to just have a normal discussion on set?
I bet he's like pissed because if he wasn't an actor, he probably would never. Because there's so many people that were there, and not that many of them will. I mean, a good handful have gotten caught or whatever, but so many, I don't think will.
Oh, yeah. There's like, I think they're up to like 500 or 600, I think, that have been caught. And
which is
maybe
a lot.
1,500 total were in the Capitol. I forget the actual numbers. But like,
that's actually a decent amount. I didn't realize
it's
that.
a shit ton.
My brain thought they caught like 5 of them or something.
Yeah. I thought they caught like 30 people, something like that.
The first 30 they could round up.
Yeah.
That they could chase after and capture.
Yeah. Yeah. To me also, I think that there needs to be an activity or like some sort of group activity, like a softball league for far right extremists, so they can take out their energy in just like more constructive ways. Because if you look at the basis of what they did, they were doing sprints. They were wielding, axes. That's like a lot of shoulder work,
you can
cardio.
Do all that.
Like, if they were playing, like if you were just allowed to be like, look, we're a far right basketball league and we're going to go and play every Sunday, and that's going to be like our outlet. I think that would get out a lot of the energy that guys like Jay Johnson are feeling on set, where they're like, I just have to shut the fuck up and like say my lines, and I can't, like, all I'm thinking in my head is like, not my president, but I have to say my lines. And like, if I had a softball league where I could just, they
need like a fight club, but whatever it wants to be. I mean, you could just take them out to the farm. I'm like, just throw some axes.
Yeah.
If you chop, I mean, what happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. So if you just chop someone's head off, I mean, they signed a waiver.
Yeah. Or get into like building models, like build a model of the Capitol and
just
like have people
and
and just like, do like people reenact the Renaissance. When you go to like the Renaissance fair, the Civil War reenactments, like boom, Capitol riot. You just you
LARPing, but Capitol riot.
Yes. Like so LARPing is technically, it's like it has to be in the past, right? The event that you're doing.
I think
you could do the opposite of LARPing and then just like create these things in your mind that you want to do as an extremist, but then just like act them out instead of actually doing it in the future.
I think this is great. You're a lawyer, you're a therapist.
That's my next public program. That's my next public program incentive, is like give these people just like an outlet to get that extremist energy out.
Yeah, I would love that. I think we would all love that.
Yeah, I would buy tickets. Like it would be.
Yeah, could we watch?
If you go to like a far right versus far left softball game, like that would be fucking insane.
Yes, that would be so good. Quality content.
The shit talk in that softball game would be.
Yeah, and what happens stays there. If you get injured while you're sitting on the bleachers,
you'd actually get people's heads chopped off in the softball game. Like they you know, they didn't reach the tipping point in the Capitol riot, but like if some girl's wearing like an I love Nancy Pelosi shirt and you're just like extreme far right and she goes deep off of you, like you're not going to let her around the bases. You're just going right at her.
Yeah, you just run straight towards
100%.
her. Body tackle.
100%.
I do dream about doing that sometimes. Like, do you ever just think like, oh, I really want to just like tackle the fuck out of this person? Yeah. Maybe you got it out of your system. No. I mean, as a man, because as a woman, I didn't grow up like tackling people. But
I'll say when the thought pops into my head, it's usually a punch or a knee, because the full tackle, especially if I'm walking around the sidewalk, I don't want to go down with the person. I want it to be like a smooth, just like rock them in the face. In stride, and then I just keep walking, like the way someone pimps a home run. Like you don't even look at the ball, you just swing and like toss the bat. Like that's the way I imagine it. But I do like I respect the tackle.
I dream because I watch football. Maybe it's because I'm like a girl. I couldn't play football growing up. I'm like, I just dream about padding up and just, I mean, which is silly because I could very easily be tackled more than I would tackle somebody. I think
you should, because when I step out onto the sidewalk, I am accepting the fact that anything could happen. So it's like everyone's signing a subconscious contract that wild shit can go down in New York City. And if you put on pads and tackled me, I'd be like, I should have seen that coming. Like that's on the list of things you should expect in New York City.
And then that'll be on the next episode of this show as a news headline.
100%.
Like, some crazy person was wearing football gear and tackling people. And
some person in a group will be like matching your face up on Instagram through the football mask and be like, I think we got her.
And then I'd be like, I was method acting as Ray Lewis.
Yes. Yes. Because look, she killed him after, so like she really was Ray Lewis. She was trying to.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that little murder trial.
Yeah, I still don't know. Like it was such a. I feel like when that joke started to, and who knows, maybe it actually happened, but we were in like 8th grade or something when that started going around.
We were too young.
And it just became part of my psyche where it's like Ray Lewis murdered someone, but he's on the football field every week.
And he's beloved. As a Baltimore person, like when you think Baltimore, you think Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
He is Baltimore.
Yeah.
But it kind of is fitting, right? For Baltimore's reputation.
I mean, if Ray Lewis could murder someone and then still tackle people on the street and play football, that would be racist if you couldn't do that to me. If you couldn't tackle me and kill me and then just like go back to your job, be like, why did Ray Lewis get away with this?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it because
it's like reverse racism?
Yeah, exactly. I'm loving, you are my defense attorney.
Yeah.
If I'm ever going to court for anything.
I'm just imagining the judge like hanging herself in the courtroom as I'm explaining my case, just like wrapping the microphone cord around her head and be like, get me the fuck out of here.
57 years.
Yeah.
And I've never heard a defense like this.
The first judge to sentence herself to death during the trial, to just not have to hear it the next day. And
it will be just celebration on the defense side of the court.
100%.
Because I'd be so pleased. Well,
so what's going on? What's going on your end of the news circuit?
Yeah. Well, if Jimmy Pesto, wants to flee the country instead of have to deal with all this mess, he might be in new travel comfort. So I'm going to send you a link because I think you should see the picture.
Yes, please do.
But
is it through text?
Yeah, I just texted it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so CNN has said, would you sit directly below another airplane passenger? So basically, as we all know on an airplane, we're just sitting like a school bus, like rows behind one another. So now they are introducing or bringing it back. I heard somebody say they're bringing it back. It's basically double-decker seats.
Oh my God.
So 3 people sit up high and then 3 people sit down low behind them.
Yeah.
So you're if you're sitting behind, you're right at ass level of the person in front of you.
Yeah, your face is in their ass.
Yeah. So do you think that they're offering like it's cheaper if you're at ass level? And it's,
is it really?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That would be hilarious. Like you have to just eat this person's farts for 4 hours.
I'm like, oh well, it's a higher ticket price if you want to give somebody pink eye, but if you're willing to risk it, you can fly to Dubai for very cheap, being at ass level.
Yeah.
With whoever's in front of you.
Yeah, this is. I don't even know.
They say
what to think
it
of this.
Gives you more leg room, which I mean, okay, if you're on top, it looks like that might be the case. But does the person beneath at ass level isn't? I don't see any more leg room there.
Yeah. So it's like there's a person sitting on top, and then there's a person that almost fits into you like a Jenga piece sitting below you on a diagonal. And we can link this to the podcast too, just because like my mind is blown.
This is a visual. You really need to see this. And this could be a controversial take, but when I saw this, I was like, this is like the modern day version of like the slave trade or something. We shouldn't be stacking people like this.
Like how far?
We can't keep stacking humans on people. We got to do away with that.
How far? I was going to say like there's definitely a reason they use 3 white people in this photo. They're like, we can.
Next, they're going to be like, if you lay down and your head is here and then the person next to you's head is here. You see how much room we can fit people on the planes?
Like society goes full circle where we had people forced against their will going onto a slave ship. And then we have people paying like $300 plus $50 for a carry-on to be stacked in the same exact manner.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know if it says on here what flights are doing this. So this is the future of economy flying. So...
It's
how far would you do this? I mean, what are your thoughts?
So I'm assuming this is one section of the plane, or this is like the entire planes. Like this is like a new thing that they're trying out with full planes.
Yeah, this is going to be the full plane.
Okay. So I mean, I would be open to trying it for sure, because sitting in coach for anything more than 3 to 4 hours sucks. Like for instance, I have a flight to Richmond from New York in a few weeks, and it's an hour. So like literally sit me on the floor. Like we take off. By the time we take off, we're already descending. So I don't care. But if it's an international flight, I think I would go for something like this over the typical coach seat, like what I just did from Japan, because that was like you can't, like, you're trying to sleep at, like, you're literally testing out every single angle of sleep. Like you're putting your head forward,
my God, I know.
You're going back, you're putting your feet up. I'm putting my face in the tray. I'm like kind of rolling up sideways in a ball in my seat. And I feel like any international flight is just like, you sit and watch something, then for 4 hours, you're just changing positions, trying to fall asleep. And then you realize you're not going to fall asleep. And then like the next 2 hours, you watch something. So like, I would be curious. It looks like there's a little bit more leg room. The only thing that you brought up is like your butt is in, your face is in the other person's butt. And these things aren't airtight. Like it's not like the seat is sealed off. Yeah, there's a crack. Yeah, so it's like that even, like, would that even compress the fart even more? Like it's putting it through your face. So you're just getting concentrated farts. Yeah. But you have more leg room.
And people fart so much while they're asleep. So you think now this guy in front of me, he's so comfortable. He can lean way back too, because he's like up here.
Yeah.
So he's leaning back, he's sleeping peacefully. Yeah. And he just basically sharts on my face while I'm trying to watch a movie.
100%. And what also, like, because you do have the crack in the seat. If you have let's say you just have a large person in the seat in front of you, their ass is not being housed completely by their pants. Yeah. And you see the crack for a 6-hour flight just kind of leaking through that little crack.
Do you say something at that point? you have to say something, right? Like, ma'am, I see
your ass.
I see your ass crack. I could put my finger
I'm
in
tickling
your
your
ass crack.
cheeks with my eyelids. She would like, I would do it hard on purpose just so she would feel it and be like, oh shit, my ass is out.
Some people though don't. I feel like people that let their ass hang out, they somehow do not ever notice, or they willingly ignore that their ass is out.
Yeah, it's almost like someone spreading their legs on the subway too far. It's like or no, someone putting their bag on the seat in an Amtrak or something when it's completely full, and you look at them and you know they're just like looking down at their phone, and they feel you being like, can you move your bag? And you end up having to tap them, and they pretend like you're like literally punching them in the shoulder, trying to get their attention to move their bag.
I commend you for even
like, oh shit, like
tapping them though, because my thing is like, if this person is crazy enough to just leave their bag there and be so, if this person is not thinking about other people while we're on the busiest train ever, and you have the audacity to leave your bag on the seat, I don't know if I want to go anywhere near that. I don't know if I want to start a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, what could they have in that bag? They could do magic tricks for 2 hours to you. They could have cards in there. They could have a rabbit in a top hat.
Initiation to a performance.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, I don't start anything. People start things with me. When they come up to me, I now am like, it's time to perform. Yeah,
like you tap them on the shoulder. And they're like, can I help you? And you're just like, yeah, can I sit in that seat? And they're just like, look in your hand. And you're like, what? And there's just like a baby miniature koala. And you're like, how did you do that? And they're like, take a seat.
Well, if that
2
happens,
hours.
then shit, who knows where that train's taking me?
Yeah.
It's probably taking me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Would you, do you think you would opt for this seating arrangement? And what would you prefer? Would you do top or bottom? Are you a top or a bottom?
Well, very fittingly, I would have to be on the top here because I mean, I just feel like the top looks like it has more room. I kind of like being up there too. Because it seems like the people on the bottom, like they're still where the flight attendants would be like walking with the cart, which can be loud. I feel like every time I fall asleep on a plane, here comes the flight attendant bustling down the hall, shaking her coffee canteen for me that I don't want because I just want to nap. Yeah. So if I did this, it would probably be on the top. I mean, they're in good efforts here. They're saying that they're just trying new things, right? Because they want to get more people on the plane.
But the thing is, like, how far are they going to go? Because if this happens, then people will, it's like everything. You make a change, you upgrade technology, you make it a little bit better, then people get used to it. And they're like, you know, an entire generation grows up only sitting in airplane seats like this. And then they're like, all right, it's time to put a third person lying across the bottom person. And they have like a bed and they're on top of the bottom person and there's a person there. And then they're like, do we really need food carts or can we just drop the food from where the oxygen masks are and just get rid of those? And they're like, we don't even need aisles anymore. We're just going to, you know, put beds in the aisle. So it's like, how far does it go?
I think it will go as far as we let them take it. So it could be anything. We have to
put a stop to this.
Yeah.
I want to go in the opposite direction. I want to take away seats on flights.
Me too.
And just make it more expensive. And I'll just fly less. I'll be like, that's fine. I don't need to fly as much as I fly. Like it should cost more than $50 to fly from New York to Richmond. But just like put less seats and make everything like business class on the flight. I think they should go the opposite direction. Yeah.
So this is comical. So in this article from CNN, Nunez Vicente, he's the guy, I guess, who like thought up this idea. And obviously he's coming from a good place. He's like, okay, I want people to have leg room, maybe more people, whatever. But he says, we have had people coming to try it. Famous people that saw the article and they were like, I want to go and try it. That sounds like the biggest lie I've ever heard. What famous person saw this and goes, well, I would love to try that instead of sitting first class in my plane or on my jet that I own.
Like Jerry Seinfeld is seeing this and being like, oh,
R.I.P., right?
Maybe I'll go back to coach.
Oh, wait, no, that's, what's his name? Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer, yeah. Either one. No one who's famous would see this seat and be like, maybe I'll go back to coach. This is so comfortable. I will give up the thing that I've worked for in my career, which is to only fly private or first class and just sit and coach with the peasants like us. Jerry Seinfeld's not doing. No one. I would, if I saw a celebrity sitting in these seats that wasn't broke, I'd be like, get out of here. Like, you're not one of us. Like, you're free. Mm-hmm. You're free. Go to first class.
I think it's kind of cool if celebs are like just on a normal economy flight. They probably don't try to be, but like sometimes just shit happens with airlines where you just kind of have to be on one. But if anything, I feel bad because I'm like, I hope nobody bothers them the whole time.
Have you ever seen a celebrity on a plane?
No.
I haven't either.
The botched guy I saw in the elevator was like the first time. Earlier today on my way to the office, and I am in an industrious office that above us is Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live studio. Yeah. So there's like everybody from Bravo and E, like all that come here for interviews and stuff. So on my way in, I was in the elevator with my nose in my phone, and then I looked up and it was Terry, what's his name? Terry DeBro. From Botched Terry was DeBro. In the elevator with me.
DeBro.
And he looked fantastic. He looked so good.
The pictures you showed me looked good, and you said he looked even better than those pictures.
He was just tan. Was the tan real? I don't know, but it also helps when somebody has money because their suit is like so nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like I try to dress nice. I mean, obviously I'm casual right now, but everybody tries to dress nice, but there's difference between like normal people dressing nice and then like rich as fuck people dressing nice.
There's a level of wealth where you start to buy suits and you can see the quality. You don't even have to feel it. Like there are people that walk down the streets where I'm just like, that's a $5,000 suit. And I don't even have to touch it because it just looks so high quality. And then there's other suits where like it can kind of trick you, like it looks quality, but like as soon as you touch it,
that's me.
Yeah, that's me too. My first 3 suits were Macy's. Yeah, $500 for 3 suits and got them tailored, and I still have them today.
That's great. That's a good deal for 3 suits.
Yeah, so
I need to do that.
But yeah, so I feel like I hear people say they have celebrity sightings all the time, especially in New York and LA. But I've never had a celebrity sighting.
No, same.
Until today.
Yeah, until today. This was actually the first celebrity. And I guess he's like a reality TV star. He's not like a movie star or anything. But, well, I guess he's just like a plastic surgeon that happens to be a reality TV star. But yeah, that is actually the closest that I've gotten here in New York. I mean, I've seen celebrities that I've paid to go see, like on Broadway or something.
Yeah.
But never just casually. But I don't think I would ever notice.
So this was probably about 5 years ago. I went out to dinner with my younger brother, and I remember we weren't talking about celebrity sightings specifically, but we were just like, like seeing someone out, because the topic just came up where we're like, yeah, like it's, what would you say if you saw this person out? Like if they just sat at the table next to us, like some famous celebrity, would you say anything? Do you go up to them? Like, what's the etiquette? I'm like, I have no idea. It's never happened to me. And then like a week later, my brother's going out to dinner with his friends, and he's sitting right by Cuba Gooding Jr. in some restaurant in New York. And he ended up getting it's a hilarious photo because they both look bombed. Like my brother's face is red and Cuba Gooding Jr. is like so sweaty, and you can tell they're both like fucked up. And
that's the time I want to meet a celebrity, is after I've had a few drinks.
Yeah,
that's like optimal for me.
100%.
Because I'll be very confident. I'm gonna go right in. I'm not gonna bother them that much, because I think sober me is like, I don't care as much about. Like, I just like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's cool to see somebody in the flesh. But I'm not really the type of person like it's rare that there's a celebrity that I'm going to want to interrupt to like get a picture or something.
Yeah. If I'm a celebrity, I probably want to be a little bit buzzed too, because it's probably, I would think it's intimidating to meet fans, even if you're famous. And obviously I have no idea, but like just the act of meeting a stranger can be nerve wracking. But if you're meeting someone that has a huge expectation of you, I would want to have, like 2-3 beers in me just for that interaction. So like on both ends, you want a little lubrication.
Yeah, I guess especially if you're like an actor, because people probably don't even know your real personality.
Yeah.
If you're like us and we're just like podcasters, it's like, if I'm a famous podcaster one day, I'm like, well, you get it all right here.
Do you,
nothing I'm hiding.
That's true. So do you think that, because I've thought about this a lot recently, but like, do actors lose their real personality when they get into acting? Like pro working actors, where you're on a TV show, you're working like 7 to 10 months out of the year, you're in a character, then you switch characters, and then you're only, yourself for a small percentage of the year. Do you think you lose your true personality because you're just like essentially trying on other personalities and living them all the time? Or do you think you hang on to it?
I think it depends how initially just a little unhinged you are from the jump. Like there are certain types of people that I could very well be like, yeah, like I think you're lost in the sauce at this point. You're just a little bit of everything. But then I think there are other actors that like, they're just cool people. I don't think that they're getting lost in their character that much. It probably stays with them like for a bit, especially if you're doing an accent. Like, well, wait, like Austin Butler, the guy who played Elvis.
Yeah.
And like there was the whole uproar about his voice, but because before Elvis, he had a voice, his voice. Then he spent 3 years doing Elvis. Fully,
really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Fully studying Elvis, method acting Elvis, singing Elvis.
If he rushed the Capitol as Elvis, he'd have an out right there. He could have done whatever he wanted.
Yeah. Elvis could have rushed the Capitol.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then afterwards, he kept the Elvis voice, and everybody was just making a fool of him because they were like, that's not your voice. Like, we heard you before. This is not, you're done the movie. Like, stop doing that. And he was always just like, I literally was so immersed in this for 3 years. Like, and I also am not that old. So the last time he probably heard me, I was like 19.
Yeah.
I think he's older than that. But he did say, like, he did use that as an excuse. Like, well, when I was younger, it wasn't developed anyways. And
yeah, it's like, so he knew that his voice was different. He wasn't oblivious to it. He's like, I know I sound different because of this role.
Yeah, no, he did admit it. But he also dated Vanessa Hudgens for like 10 plus years or something. They were in a really long-term relationship. She actually like pushed him to do this movie. Then during the movie, he like dumps her, which sucks. She was a ride or die. But then,
as Elvis, he's like, I'm getting too big, baby.
Yeah, now he's dating
too
some
big for your britches.
Model, maybe Cindy Crawford's daughter or something. I'm not sure entirely. I could have that wrong. But it was funny because she commented on a clip on TikTok of him. It was like an interview clip of him saying his reasoning, like, oh, I was immersed in this, blah, blah, blah. And she just commented being like, LOL, like eyes rolling, because so she thinks like, no, like you're definitely faking that still.
She thinks he's faking it.
Yes.
I would,
but she could just be salty.
What if he is faking it, but he just prefers the Elvis voice and personality over his real personality? Because to me, that would be like the danger. If I'm, like if you're playing someone like Elvis, who is, an absolute savage king of music, like through and through, just has that like mysterious star power. People love him. People have an emotional reaction whenever you hear about Elvis or you listen to Elvis. And then you go through 3 years of that. And then you're just like, do I want to go back to being Austin Butler? Or do I want to just keep the Elvis suit that I've built with my skills over the last 3 years and just, you know, like keep wearing the suit and not take it off until I come across another character like that. To me, that's like, if I was playing a character for that long and I like got taken by the mystique of that character, the danger to me would be like, what if I just adopt the personality because I'm like, this is cooler. Like, I'm not that cool and this guy's cool as fuck.
I think that's what happened. But I am curious because now since he did Elvis, he won some award, not an Oscar, but, you know, there's all these award shows. So I have no idea. It wasn't an MTV Movie Award. It was better than that. It was like more prestigious. So now he's like getting more roles. And he's already kind of, a lot of these movies are in post-production. So I'm like, I'm very curious. I want to watch one of these movies just to see. I'm like, is that Elvis accent still in here? Or are you doing something else?
Yeah.
Because then I know that you're just doing a lot of accents.
Like when he's not on set for his next jobs, he's going around town, getting up on stage, performing. He's like calling his doctor for prescriptions, like, get me exactly on whatever Elvis overdosed. And like, I'm only 22, so I still got 18 years before the, you know, the big finale where I fold over on the toilet. He's just like true. He's like, I am Elvis. I am becoming Elvis. And that just like overtakes him full circle. We might be right smack dab in the middle of it. Yeah. So it could be Elvis reincarnated right there. Yeah. I'm very excited to follow the saga of Austin Butler just to see, like, is his accent the same as it was in Elvis? That also makes me think of what was the movie Harry Styles was just in with Olivia Wilde? I know what you're talking about. Fuck. I saw that recently. Was Florence Pugh in it? Yeah. Harry Styles. Olivia Wilde directed it. She was also in it too. What was that called? I did watch it. Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah. So Harry Styles had a weird thing where for the first half of the movie, I thought he was American, but he was going in and out of a British accent. Yeah. And then they put a line in the movie where he said something along the lines of like, you don't understand me because I'm from London or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. And I thought they just slipped that line in there, making him from his actual character from London because his accent was so bad in the first half of the movie where we're like, that we have to work something in to make some sort of sense for the first half of the movie. Because he'd literally like, he'd talk in an American accent and just like, he'd sound decent. And then he'd yell at his girlfriend and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just like, wait, where is he from? I wouldn't be surprised because I swear to God, he only got that job because his girlfriend at the time was the director. Because there was also drama behind that where it was supposed to be Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be that character. But of course, I would have loved to see that movie with Shia LaBeouf. Shia is a really talented actor, but he's got a lot of baggage and personal issues. So I think that he dropped out of the movie. And then like, there's also evidence of Olivia Wilde like begging him to come back to the movie. I know too much drama. I don't know why my brain is filled with this crud. I looked into it. Me and my girlfriend both looked into like the saga of how the whole Shia LaBeouf debacle unfolded. Yeah. So it was pretty wild. Yeah, definitely. So I think that Harry was only in this movie because Olivia was like, well, shit. Who else am I going to get? We got the production schedule. It starts in like 2 weeks. Yeah. And then she just looked at her boyfriend and was like, well, you do it? 100%. Well, so speaking of accents. Okay. Speaking of accents and celebrities and, you know, news involving celebrities that succumb to death. A TikToker faked his death to teach his family a lesson and crashes his own funeral via a helicopter with cameras. Wow. That is a real thing. That's a jam-packed headline there. It is. There's a lot of emotion. Because first it's like TikToker fakes death. And then you're like, okay, like that's happened before. to teach his family a lesson. And then you're
whoa, there's resentment.
All right. Crash his own funeral. Okay.
How is that possible?
Via helicopter.
It was closed casket.
Yeah, 100%.
And then where did you get the helicopter from?
Yeah. So a man, I forget where this is from. But yeah, if you search TikToker fakes death, it'll come up. But a man in Belgium decided to teach his family a lesson about staying in touch by faking his own death and then filming himself as he crashed his own funeral with a dramatic helicopter arrival, triggering a social media backlash. Social media influencers have done a lot of crazy things for clicks and views, but how many can say they faked their own death? One man in Belgium did just that, saying it was to teach his family a lesson. The TikToker, 45-year-old David Barton. I was expecting this to be like a 22-year-old, like angsty.
So this is well thought out.
45-year-old roped his immediate family into a quote-unquote social experiment, which helped him to sell the ruse. He admitted in an interview with the French chat, so touche pas mon poste per Indie 100. That's my accent.
That was good.
I'm going to adopt a shitty French accent. That's going to be the character I'm going to live out for the next 3 years. That he didn't immediately tell his children about the prank. Quote, "Rest in peace, Daddy. I will never stop thinking about you," one daughter wrote, reportedly believing he was dead.
He did this to his kids?
Immediate family.
Yeah, my brain totally thought this was like all about his parents.
No, he had kids too.
That is so fucked.
Goes on.
Oh no.
Quote, "Why is life so unfair? Why you? You were going to be a grandfather and you still had your whole life ahead of you. I love you. I love you. We love you. We will never forget you." His daughter is writing that.
That is so crazy.
And according to the 45-year-old man, he wanted to teach his family a lesson about staying in touch as he felt he'd been getting left out of extended family get-togethers. Quote, "I never get invited to anything. Nobody sees me. We all grew apart. I felt unappreciated. That's why I wanted to give them a life lesson and show them that you shouldn't wait until someone is dead to meet up with them."
But is this not like narcissistic behavior? Instead of just having like, hey, can we all have like a sit down? Because I feel like we don't see each other enough. My feelings are really hurt. Like, I feel unappreciated. Let's like talk about it. Instead, he's like, I'm going to teach them a lesson.
Yeah, I'm going to teach you motherfuckers a lesson.
My children.
I
my
think
daughter that's pregnant and doesn't need any more stress than she already has.
Yes. The first thing that popped into my head was like, how funny would it be if this guy's like teaching, he's like, I'm going to teach my family a lesson. I'm going to fake my own death. I'm going to go through like this whole ruse. I'm going to hire the helicopter. I'm going to drop off the map for 2 weeks. I'm going to go radio silent, hide out in a cabin somewhere, zero evidence. And then like at the last second, he's pulling up to the helicopter. He's pulling up to his family and he just like fucking the winds hit and he just gets sucked down into the ground and like burns alive in front of his own family. And he's like, that was way worse.
Yeah.
that was like, he should have just left it as his faked death. But then it turned into a real death. Like this whole thing planned out. And then at the last second, the pilot's like, oh shit. And he just like fucking crashes it into the ground.
Then he's in like whatever afterlife. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Took that a little too far. Didn't mean it to go this far, but
yeah.
they really got a taste this time.
I'm just trying to think like what would pop into someone's head as like the first step I'm going to take feeling left out from family functions is I'm going to, make a video where I drown to death or whatever. Because it didn't say how, like I was looking for how he faked his own death. It didn't say, but like however he did it, like instead of having a conversation, I'm going to send a video to my family of me drowning in a scuba diving accident or whatever it was. And then just go off the map for 2 weeks and then come back in a helicopter and be like, what's up, bitches?
It's so
gotcha, bitch.
How long was this premeditated for? It's like, how long did you, it kind of makes a difference to me. I'm like, did you think this through for like 5 years? Like you had always kind of in the back of your head, like thought about this, or was this like just a sudden thing?
Yeah.
That kind of, I'm like, for some reason, that feels important to me.
I feel like it would have to be boiling for a while. Like you don't just all of a sudden wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna fake my own death. You're like you're dropping subtle hints here and there. He's probably being passive aggressive, you know, like saying things in conversation like you only appreciate the ones you love when they're gone, or like you don't know what you have until they're gone. And his wife's like, why are you saying that on the toilet? And he's like, I don't know, just better make sure.
I don't know. And then what if, like, because you know sometimes you can win, like, or you can just pay for a ride in a helicopter. You can win it as like a cool prize for something. Like, can you imagine being the helicopter pilot? And he's like, so don't be alarmed, but I'm going to be wearing like a tuxedo, and I would really like it if you could fly me to this exact destination.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to drop down and be like, surprise.
Yeah. And the pilot's like, oh my God, like, are you proposing? Like, what's going on? Like, are you coming home like from the war or something? Like, you're seeing your family for the first time in 2 years. He's like, no, my family thinks I'm dead.
Yeah.
I sent them a video 2 weeks ago, CGI, me getting mauled by 2 Siberian tigers. What they don't know is that I edited that whole thing, and I've actually been staying in an Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to drop me down, and I'm going to teach them a lesson. And the pilot's like, I guess I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah, I mean, you paid me, so, you know, whatever. I'm just like an Uber driver. I just go where the destination is, and I don't say anything.
He's like, whatever, man. He's like, imagine this like happens pretty often, so the pilot's not even fazed by it. He's like, you'd be surprised.
You wouldn't be
like,
the first person.
How many people fake their own deaths and call a Blade helicopter?
He's like, actually, not a bad idea. I might do it myself.
To stunt on their family.
I want to know like more about that. I want to know the resolution. Because now at this point, now I'm like, you're definitely never seeing your grandchild. Like, you're so crazy to do that to us.
So I'll read a little bit more into the article. There's no definite resolution, but you can definitely get a feeling of what the family thinks. So Barton waited until mourners had gathered for the service before he made the dramatic entrance with his film crew. Don't forget, this dude had like cameras in the wings hidden from the family. And then when he got out the helicopter, they like rushed in and filmed the whole thing. He said upon landing, "Cheers to you all. Welcome to my funeral." According to a fellow TikToker, Barton was rushed. That's good. There's more TikTokers in the audience. Barton was rushed when he landed. So like they bum rushed him, receiving hugs and a lot of emotions.
Okay.
One friend shared a video of Barton being embraced by several people. Clearly not upset, the video was captioned, "You got us. I swear to you, I was in tears."
I really don't know what to think about that. I do think if you think your dad's dead and then he just like drops from a helicopter, you would be like, oh my God. Those initial reactions I think would be like genuinely good because you're like, wow, my dad isn't dead. That's great. Unless you had, I mean, I'm sure there was one family member that was like, fuck.
Yeah, they would be right. Dead. They would be right. Because he said in the article only half the family showed up and the other half didn't. And in my head, I was like, the half that didn't show up got this right. Like, this dude's a fucking piece of shit narcissist.
But yeah, so it is interesting to me. I don't think I would just be like, oh, thank God you're alive. I would have a lot of questions after that.
I'm just trying to like put myself in.
Also, I paid for this funeral. Do you know how expensive these are?
I think my mode of action, if I saw my brother fake his own death, and I thought he was dead for 2 weeks, and I saw him get out of a helicopter, I would be like, oh my God, my brother's alive. Then as he walked towards me, I would fucking deck him in the face and drop kick him in the stomach.
Yeah.
And then as I'm leaning over him, being like, you thought you'd teach me a lesson, I would send him a Venmo request for the $5,000 that I spent for the funeral.
Exactly.
And be like, eat shit.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
No, I am fully there with you.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And also not getting invited to extended family functions is a gift.
No, it is.
Like this guy when he stopped getting invited to like especially the parties where it's like 70 cousins and like 100 other people who you've met twice when you were 9, it's like the greatest relief in the world to just be like, oh, I'm not around that weekend, or like maybe even show up for 15 minutes. The only family functions that I really enjoy are like the 5 to 10 people get-togethers where you're getting together with parts of families. Like you'll get together with like one side, and then you get together with like your other aunt and uncles. But like as soon as this guy stopped getting invited, I would have been like, oh my God, this is such a gift. Like, thank you so much. Like no one there wants to be there except like the one aunt who put together custom invites, like handwritten notes
the
to
one that
100
made
people.
The macaroni salad.
Yeah.
The massive bowl of macaroni salad that's at every
So this guy
barbecue.
this guy didn't realize that he was like being given an out, and instead he went the complete opposite direction and was like, I'm gonna, they're gonna burn for this.
Yeah, he also could have just like never returned. It seemed like he was classified as dead or missing persons. He could have just had a better life. He could have just found a new family that treated him better.
I think that's the lesson from this all, is that he got the first half of it right. But if you're listening to this podcast and you are not a fan of your family, you could take the first half of his plan and then just switch families, or just disappear completely if you have the funds.
Buy your ticket on the double-decker airplanes.
Yes.
And get the hell out of town.
Adopt an Elvis accent when you land, so no one puts together the pieces. You choose a different personality, and then boom, that's pretty much it. You got yourself a new life right there.
Yeah, and if any questions come up, Zach can be your defense attorney.
Yeah. It's not going to go well, but I will say words in the courtroom, and I can't promise that you won't get a life sentence, because like I'm defending someone who's like possibly looking at probation, and the judge hates me so much she just fucking like gives him the electric chair, and I'm like, well, this did not go how I thought my first trial was gonna go.
The judge is like, you know what, the defendant can go free, but you, the lawyer,
I'm sentencing the lawyer to
it's the first time I've ever done this
in
my 70 years being a judge, because judges can be like old as hell, but
100%.
He's like, this is the first time I've ever done this. Sir, you're going to jail.
I like that. Was that a half Elvis? I feel like that was like
more
a little...
it's like a country accent. I can do a pretty good country accent because that's like my real accent.
Sir,
it's like this.
You're going to jail.
Sir, you're going to jail.
Sir, you're going to jail.
That was good.
Just like we're just going back and forth, emphasizing different words. Sir, you're going to jail. Sir, you're going to jail.
Yeah, it can be a lot of different.
Sir, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to put the you're. It's like, that's like Trump, like, you're fired.
You're fired. I think we're at an hour 10 minutes right now. Did you have another story that you wanted to dive into?
Yeah, we can finish on a strong note here.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
So this is British news, I think, because it's CalgaryHerald.com, and that is nothing I've ever heard of before.
Calgary? I think Calgary's in Canada.
Oh, that could make sense as well.
Let me see.
I'm not very well traveled, if you couldn't tell.
A Canadian province in Alberta.
Okay, cool. We love our Canadian friends.
Yeah.
So the headline is Hugh Hefner's son flogging, which I love that word, flogging racy content on OnlyFans to fund his Pokemon obsession.
Did you say flogging or vlogging?
Flogging, like Flogging.
Like, isn't that
that's
like
what
lashing?
I thought? It's like, yeah, like it's a strange thing to say. It is like a punishment, it seems.
Yeah, the definition of flogging, punishment in which the victim is repeatedly hit with a whip.
How do we... Hugh Hefner's son flogging racy content on OnlyFans.
Unless it's a typo where it's supposed to be vlogging, like, because that makes more sense.
My God, what if it is the F and the V are so close to each other on the keyboard?
Or if he's flogging himself, and they just created a new word for it.
Well, I don't have an OnlyFans account, so I can't confirm this, but to any of our listeners, I would love for you to let me know.
Sign up and let us know. What does it say?
Yeah, so we all know Hugh Hef. He died recently, our Playboy Mansion grandfather. Yes, so this is his son, Marston Hefner. He's doing OnlyFans, and the drama behind this is that his wife has adamantly wished that he would not do OnlyFans.
Okay.
And he says he simply refuses to not do it because he's obsessed with Pokemon, and OnlyFans is a great way to make money to fuel his Pokemon card obsession.
Okay. All right. And so his
wife is pregnant as well. So like once again, we have another situation where this lady, how much more stress does she need?
That's true. But she did marry the son of Hugh Hefner.
Come on.
Like, that's like if I married Steve Irwin's daughter and I was like, can you please stop wrestling crocodiles? And she's like, I started doing this when I was 4.
Yeah.
You can't ask me to stop now.
Can't change me.
Like, he grew up doing homework just around tits, and like he would look up from doing times tables and be like, oh, there's another pair of tits in my house, and then go back to times tables and be like, there's a pussy, there's an ass, and just like constantly downloading all these things in his head. And so honestly, like, this is I haven't heard like what the actual content is yet, but it seems pretty normal.
I can tell you. Well, so he's doing this because he says it's bringing extra financial security for his family and his Pokemon obsession. His content includes undressing myself slowly and engaging in butt plug play, but most of it is Pokemon themed. So probably a lot of butt plug Pokemon Pikachu butt plugs or something. Or, and undressing yourself slowly. Maybe he was wearing like an Ash costume or something. Because isn't Ash is like the main character in Pokemon?
And he's like, he's undressing himself slowly, and then right as he sticks the butt plug up and it hits the G spot, do you think he's like, gotta catch him all?
Yes, probably. Oh,
God.
He doesn't have any problem with nudity. He says if people have sex and they make money from it, it's cool. And if I end up doing it, cool. So basically, there's room for more exploration from him. He says if I end up having sex on camera, I'm okay with that.
So basically, like, but as of now, it's mostly stripping and butt plug action. Like, there's not, which I feel like is like pretty tame for OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, are you familiar with OnlyFans? I've genuinely I've been curious, but I'm like, do you have to pay to be like, to view stuff, right?
Yeah. So I haven't subscribed to anyone's account, but I know that like it's behind a paywall, obviously. So you get more leeway, I would assume, than if you're throwing porn up on like Pornhub or something. So
that's good. It's like, it is good to pay these people money instead of like Pornhub that's like just ripping women off.
I say you give him the outlet if you're the wife, because like if he's doing this, if he's discussing this with you and he has the, the Pokemon addiction, or like he's just building up funds for Pokemon, imagine what he's going to do if you tell him no and he has to start hiding stuff from you, and he's like suppressing all those urges. And then one day you're just going to find him like banging some girl in a Pikachu costume and like has a butt plug up his ass. There's a butt plug up her ass, and the wife's like, what's going on? And he's like, this is what happens when you don't let me, blow off steam. Like goes back to the softball league. Like you got to have a way, like people have to have a physical thing where they can just, swing the bat or ride a plug and
plug the butt.
And it gets off steam. It burns calories,
I think that's great. I genuinely think it's great. And basically he's saying like, if my wife wants to start having an open relationship now, like we would have that conversation. Yeah. So I'm like, this man is just living his best life.
He's breaking down doors of opening. He found
this is a modern relationship.
Yeah.
beautiful.
And so like I feel like a common thing amongst couples that have been together for a while is one of them wants to open the door to the possibility of an open relationship, but isn't sure how to do it. This is a roadmap that has been proven to work. You can get involved in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or some other trading card game and then make an OnlyFans and then ride butt plugs, and you know your wife is gonna find your butt plug stash one day and she'll be like, what is this? And you're like, I think it's time we had a talk. I've been having some urges. And
leave it to the heir of the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
Marston.
That's the thing I like. And also like going back to the Capitol thing, like if there was the far right softball league, if there was, you know, far right butt plug conventions, you know, like that is, you make a space for people to be just like out there and weird and extreme, where like
express yourself.
Yeah, like just like total unabashed expression, so that they don't, you know, feel like they have to do other things that could possibly violate the terms of the relationship. I
fully believe that. Yeah. I think like the reason a lot of the times there's so many like child predators around and like just all these like people that are like evil, I'm like, well, where was their outlet? Not that there should be an outlet that you should like be hooking up with kids. I just mean like there's got to be some other outlet like the softball league or fight club or whatever for them to like exert some emotions.
Yeah, you got to have like, there's got to be a place for debased desires that you can go and express them no matter how horrific it is, as long as you're not hurting someone else. Yeah. Like whether it's VR or like, you know, consensual things, you know.
I think therapy, you can do this in therapy, but.
Yes. So we're coming up with all these extravagant ways like, all right, how expensive would it be if I go through 2 butt plugs a week? Okay. Well, BetterHelp is $50 a session. Butt plugs are $60 a piece. All right.
How much is a butt plug?
It probably depends on the accessories and like.
Yeah, especially
I would
if
assume
you're
it's
getting
like a car. It's like, do you want the attachments? Do you want Bluetooth? Like, what is your?
There's probably for him. They're also probably like custom made.
Yeah, it's got like the Playboy logo on it. I would think it's probably a good idea to get a custom made butt plug, just because it's almost like
you want
like
it to
glasses.
Be just right.
Like you want to get a prescription butt plug.
Okay, so I just Googled out of curiosity, Pokemon butt plug. Oh wow! So there's a Pikachu butt plug for $69 or $59. It would have been funny if it was $69.
Yeah. This one, $89 to a Love Sense butt plug. Anal vibrating balls for men. Big plug vibration machine for women. So it's you could both enjoy it. It's a single butt plug for a beautiful partnership. Wow.
And I just feel like this has been a beautiful episode.
Yeah. I feel like we've, you know, come full circle. Just like this guy has come in circles of other people who enjoy Pokemon. Maybe he's started a club and you know he's just
people are into
himself.
That there's a lot of like anime cartoon like hentai, right? That's what it's called.
Hentai. Yeah,
this is
like the tentacles
and
stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if like, because if his parents ever thought that like buying him the first pack of Pokemon cards when he was 6 would lead to like him making butt plug videos on OnlyFans to buy the Pokemon
like
card.
Who bought him the first pack of Pokemon cards?
Like they started the butt plug obsession.
You know that Hugh would be so proud of his son though.
100%.
He was like, whatever you like, son.
100%. He would just be ashamed that he wasn't more out in the open with it. Like he was behind a paywall instead, you know, starting a butt plug magazine that was like half butt, half Pikachu, and just, you know.
And building a house and just filling it with a bunch of dudes that like to use Pokemon butt plugs.
100%. 100%. As long, you know, it's like my mom says, as long as it's sterile, I love you. And
boil it up.
Yeah.
Boil your butt plug, everybody. Boil your sex toys.
Yeah.
We need to be safe and germ free.
imagine just walking into someone's kitchen and they're just boiling 20 butt plugs and they're just, oh yeah, I have an orgy this weekend. So it's just like, I'm just trying to be a good host.
I think that's great. I'm like, way to practice safe sex. This is wonderful.
100%. I think this is a great place to end off. And I hope we've inspired you to be a little bit more weird and find, you know, those spaces to join the people that have your weirdness, whether it's, you know, you like to perform cardio while you rush federal buildings, you like to, you know, shove things up your butt that possibly vibrate and collect trading cards, or, you know, you haven't spoken to your family in a while and you're like, how can I teach them a lesson?
Yeah.
I would say that dude is a piece of shit though. Find a more interesting way to talk to your family about it. Like, be less of a piece of shit. Like, you can still rent a helicopter. I would say if my cousin didn't want to go to family or wasn't invited to extended family gatherings, but didn't fake his own death, but came in on a helicopter, like sky dove into a barbecue and was like, what's up, bitches? I'd be like, we're inviting him to every single fucking
that's
barbecue
the talk
from
of the
now on.
party.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah. Express yourself freely, everybody. But
yeah, see you guys
safely.
next time.
Yeah. See you then.